Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. I really appreciate you guys showing up here today, coming in for the messages. So today I've done something, again, a little bit different. And yesterday and today I was hearing that I should lay out several different cards from my mixed deck from Kali and Kuan Yin, which to me represent the two polarities within the feminine polarity, as if there were only two, with our goddess guardian energy being that of the moon rather than the sun. There's a lot of multiplicity or multidimensionality to the feminine side of our nature, whether or not we are born into a feminine vessel in this time and space. So, not to repeat myself, but if you are new to the channel, the way that I'm speaking of this is that we all have both polarities within ourselves, honoring our magnetic receptive side as well as our assertive and influencing side, our action and our responsive nature. It's how we exchange information, and this is happening constantly on so many levels of our being. When I speak of the feminine, it's about the inner landscape and our ability to both receive nourishment, process the recipe of all that comes through, and then to serve out on those silver platters is what I'm hearing, the medicine that the situation calls for. That's part of our magic. And so again, whether you are masculine or feminine, today we're looking at our feminine polarity, because right now I feel that that's something that needs to be brought in for all of us. So I'm going to do that a little differently. I have two cards over here and then two cards over here from the Kali Kuan Yin deck, and then the underneath of the deck, I split the deck first before taking two off the back, and then I saw underneath the pile. So you may identify with one or the other, or you may identify with having all of this and more within your personality. This doesn't mean that these are overriding, overarching bits of you, but that these archetypal energies are at play in the situation, riled up and ready to be seen and heard and contended with in our life. So the feminine rising in our life in the first episode here, Shining Lotus, number 26 from Kuan Yin. This one has come out a few times recently, so some of you may be returning energies. And this 26 is an 8, energy that has gone around a few times and returned to the self. The 8, this is 2024 at the time of this broadcast, and this is talking about the 8 year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. So the numerology is that this is the time and the space where we are shining a little brighter. I saw 333. You may be honing your energy, your emotions, creating a firmer foundation, creating a firmer is probably the wrong word, a more what do I want to say? Something more malleable, flexible, exchangeable, the information center of the heart, and how that has been repaired and healed through so many processes that you have been steering. And so the next card in the moment I'm seeing as that steering wheel, this is like the guiding light, the North Star, if you will. I don't know what's with there's that light. It's still not very vibrant card. It's still very peaceful and muted, as though it's one of these glorious flowers that hides from everyday passersby, but those that take the moment to look and see can see the intricate details of its center, that the core of the lotus as it blooms. And so I'm seeing that as some open-mindedness and I do want to read just a little bit from the book as I get into this, but with Shining Lotus, it's about taking up space, and as you've healed and gone through life and taken back, um, creating your own beliefs, your own independent identities. And we all kind of adopt a few pre-made ones, but ultimately there's something at the center that is part of the continuity of your soul that overrides and is quite beyond this time and space and whatever roles and hats you may play now. It's like right now, this is the costume party for right now, but we can access these Akashic memories of self and create a lot of comprehension and coherence about what it is for us to continue to rise above, to continue to be less fearful, to fear less, and to be bold and to continue and to shine despite those who would weigh us down or ask us to be diminished in some type of a way. Here it's and maybe those people aren't allowed in your experience any longer, but there's a foundational experience that had to move away from some of that energy. Under the deck here we have Daughter of the Phoenix, and the other underneath of the deck wanted me to see what was underneath, so I looked under this one. And so we've got Daughter of the Phoenix, and the Phoenix being that self-rebirthing. It annihilates self to rebuild the self and arise from the ashes of perhaps situations that needed to be leveled or completely regenerated and left behind. It's like being the warrior that continues and continues. So Daughter of the Phoenix, if that is you with that regenerative scorpionic type energy, here the yellow tiger mother, the solar plexus perhaps of your mother or your matriarchal line, or even your own mothering higher self that nourishes and that wants for you to be healed and whole and respected and regarded. This is about continuing to rise like the phoenix and to shine brightly and beautifully and softly. Let me read this 39 moksha of Kali for you. It says, her passionate desire for your liberation is unflagging, and so your relief shall come swiftly. She's speaking to you from within. She's the voice of reassurance, not of doubt. Can you hear her? Can you trust her? Soon you will see things in a better light. You're going to be liberated from the struggle you're currently experiencing. Be true to yourself and your life path, and you will attract the way forward as obstacles disappear. Do not turn away, for you're destined to overcome all opposition, bringing your sacred path to fruition. So, this moksha means freedom in the sense of self-actualization, and spiritual liberation refers to the attainment of enlightenment, and it's considered the final release from involuntary suffering. So the processes of your past have really been going through this transition, and it's like you've just now passed the point of understanding some huge, long-standing resistance or blockages that you are ready to surpass here. This distinction made between voluntary and involuntary is made because at a high level, certain divine beings will take on the experience of suffering to assist those yet to experience moksha. They help to carry the load and move others forward. So you may be somebody who assists others in cleansing, purifying, releasing energies. You may do this on a one-to-one, on a community level, or on the straight up energetic level, or in your dreams, but on some level by your own quest and path to liberate your own self into the higher realms of your higher self, the connection with the divinity, without losing touch with the depths and the fertile soil of the human dimensions. that may seem higher and lower as cases present. So this yellow tiger mother is, oh my God. Hallelujah. Okay, hear the yellow tiger mother now. Yes, I hear you. That was actually one of those wooden folding screens that I use for my energy work and for partitioning off that reading room back there. And it was actually one that belonged to my ancestors. So that's absolutely a message for the reading. It's like if you are experiencing things that are falling, being misplaced, do your best to not fall into whatever emotional pattern was either modeled or is a regulatory coping mechanism, such as anger, despondency, fear, or aggression or defensiveness. Use it as an opportunity to say, what is the symbol language that the elementals and the powers that be at play magically are trying to convey? So our love for another, our compassion for their pain may make us wish that we could take on their suffering so that they no longer need to struggle. This is counter to the divine perspective of higher beings. They enter into the realm of suffering to assist all. If divine understands the purpose of suffering, the divine does understand the purpose, and that can lead us towards wisdom, strength, and ultimately empowerment. It's again that number 8 coming around. There's an art to alleviate suffering without depriving the soul of the growth that it can bring. There are loving divine beings of great wisdom willing to help those trapped in suffering at all times. We can call for assistance when things become too difficult, including anguish that we may feel when feared with struggles of others or with the choices that are at play. But they have sufficient wisdom and higher understanding to help in ways that create benefits for all. So I think I'll stop there with the reading part. It's that we're being reminded in the moment not to jump in to the shark-infested waters that somebody decided to go swimming in, thus, despite there's this no swimming allowed danger sign. And maybe we can throw them a life preserver. And I mean, that sounds pretty intense, right? I mean, maybe some of us, depending on who's jumped into the waters, would, risk it all. And that's for the moment to dictate. I don't mean to use such intense symbolism here, but it's sometimes the smallest of things that can be allowed in somebody's experience to trigger them into these responses, whether it's a fear response or a coping mechanism or just a default setting. And perhaps we can help them to get that divine reset with a few choice phrases or suggestions or whatever, depending on your situation. Your intuition is key and king here. Daughter of the Phoenix is like, you understand what it is to contend with the lower, and you understand that it is an internal choice only to reach for the higher, and offering that rather than the bailing others out will force them to consider something in a whole new way. And it's not for us to distract ourselves with the struggles of others. It's for them to listen and to ascend and to not get drawn into arguments and things of that nature, right? If somebody needs to stand on your own, if you've set a boundary or limitation that has again been crossed, here is the opportunity for you to engage your solar plexus energy and find a creative way to no longer annihilate yourself for the suffering of another, and to cut anchor and be the buoy that lifts up to the top of the water and takes a breath in the moment. So let's get you some closeout. We're at about 15 minutes here. Let's get you an animal totem that may speak to you. I'll take that one. Ladybug, good luck. You're a bright energy. Yes, shining lotus. And shining lotus, for instance, this totally escaped me. Shining lotus, and there is the lotus of you, shining brightly for all to see. Let worry go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good fortune and good luck. So this here is like your light shines bright and is important to the lives of others. I wanted to get one more. This, I feel, is a spirit guide coming in for you, or you acting as this energy in the lives of others. But it's time to protect yourself. White stag, protector. You are an old soul. Your best friend is nature. Use your intuition to take you where you want to go. Awaken to the powerful force within you, rising. You are meant to create blessings with your magic. And you are the good luck ladybug. You are that bright soul that creates magic in your life and models it for others. Yes. I'll leave that one there under the deck. Cat, independent. It may be time for you to cut anchor with individuals who are attempting, consciously or not consciously, unconsciously, pulling you down into their despair. It's okay to shine a light for someone, but it's not okay to suffocate our flame to suit another. We'll go and leave that there. So moving into our next messages, and we may actually, yes, let's go ahead and move on so we have time for everybody. 43, Gauri Devi, and 34, so transpositioned numbers, so something may be turning or dual-sided nature is what's coming up with these two cards. So Kurukula, I apologize. These are difficult for me to understand and pronounce, not my dialect, but it's definitely an energy that I love bringing in. These two together are talking about Gauri Devi is a card that tells this story about the more socially acceptable version of self, the one that has been able to soften our wild edges and to put on the correct appropriate attire and show up at the office and smile at the customers no matter what type of day you're having. And so as you can see, this does sort of fit with this feminine energy expressed in the last one, that this may be over here the service orientation of your persona and how you approach things, whereby this may be talking about the nature and the inner situation that this is being compelled and magnetized by to answer in a new way. So Gauri Devi is that domesticized version, and she has this purity of intention here. She's the side of Kali that isn't so triggering to those who haven't met their darkness and walked hand in hand with their shadow. The curricula here, it sounds like another word that isn't coming in, but it's kind of teasing my senses. And it's talking about how this primitive, intuitive, instinctive side of your nature is speaking to you, perhaps through your body or through slips in thought, word, deed, things coming to your attention, like, where did that come from? Oh, the shadow side is speaking. Do you have the fearless, bold nature to listen to what is being talked about? Are there butterflies occurring for one reason or another, which can also be a fear response? It can be a response that is telling us that somebody is a little mysterious or unpredictable or unstable. It can also be the butterflies one feels with anticipation or excitement or some type of many things. Take it in your own context, but there's this four-armed, three-eyed goddess energy, this warrior energy here with bow and arrow, which reminds me of Diana the Huntress, as well as Chiron in the moment. But so we've got the blue skinned Gauri Devi, which reminds me of one of my favorite tarot readers has a deck I do not possess talking about this card, talking about Am I Blue? And it happens on multi levels. And in the moment, this is juxtaposed with this red-skinned goddess in the moment, as I said that, with, do you see the red undertones behind the lips, behind the orange eyes? There's red pupil, and the two eyes are even depicted differently. One is domesticated and one is her ferocity, which is part of the card. I can't wait to read it to you. But so it's like the domesticized and the warrior. And so then under the deck came out Orchid Priestess of Destiny, almost with this Pied Piper essence of defeating negativity, leading negativity out the door through power of vocalizing magical, magnetic, musical. It's like instead of blaming and shaming, it's inviting. And so there were a couple cards here. I looked at Empress of the Pearl talking about being squeezed in stressful situations. The Tao talking about this, again, 38, the Tao, the up and down, the back and forth, the reflection point, walking in the flow of divine magic. And then Kalika Tantrika. Interesting. So this one's a complex card. I didn't know it was there. I'll let you take that in. I'm seeing some Egyptian type information, some depictions like cave drawings. It's scrolls, a scribe. Anyways, Chinnamasta, the self-decapitating, liberating inner self that says no longer. That's the 20 card. So I saw 20 and 21 here with the Priestess of Destiny. It's like it's your destiny to liberate yourself, your persona, and your primal instinctive nature wants to speak boldly in your ear and tell you something that perhaps you've been pushing down. 43, this blue goddess here, is like, it's talking to me about being told what's acceptable for you to be and become versus listening deeply to self. Champion of the sweet souls with fierce hearts who are underestimated and passed over. She who is gentle as the deer and ruthless as the lioness, who is the capacity within the awakened heart to rise, to overcome obstacles, to have faith without any evidence of victory, and to rally the spirit until the right moment to act and win is felt. She is nonconformity and the freedom to be one's true self. Recognize your own beauty and value, irrespective of whether another has the capacity to behold it at this time. You shall shine. So there's a lot of sacral chakra energy, a lot of throat chakra energy here, and really contemplating and awakening and feeling the changing essence within the body, within the soul, just kind of maybe like that adrenaline rush when something new is perceived, where you can feel tremors through your system. something about exercising. Sometimes I get that a bit of adrenaline rush through the exercising process, and it's almost like helping me to cleanse and clear the immune system, which it actually is, because if you didn't know, little side note here, did you know that your lymph system, the lymphatic white blood cell system that creates the immune response to stress and has byproducts filling it all of the time, has no passive pumping system on its own? It's dependent upon our ability to flex and utilize all of the various gazillion numbers of muscles, ligaments, and tendons, and to create flexibility. And as we move and access those muscles, there is a muscle memory, and it also pushes through that stagnant energy, creating healing for ourselves. And it creates a feeling of greater health. So also just a few other things. So the divine feminine is often misunderstood. She is often stereotyped, typecast as weak and passive, and therefore underestimated or dismissed, or seen as devouring and castrating. So is feared or spurned. There's this misunderstanding here at play. Yet she is not one thing or the other. She is the wisdom of what is needed, situation by situation. Gauri is the secret softness and light that is a part of Kali. We would call her Kali's bright shadow. She is domestic, and accessibility, where Kali is wildness and mystery. Gauri is bejeweled with gems, Kali with skull. Here she's dressed beautifully in sumptuous attire, and Kali is often shown naked, smeared in ash and blood. So I already covered that part. Culture versus untamed, and one is giving while the other is restrictive and withholding, due to having boundaries and due to understanding when it is appropriate to be the altruistic, service-oriented, and when it is time to batten the hatches and guard and protect oneself from energetic drains and such, and so on. Both are manifestations of the one divine femininity. So there was this one story here that they're talking about where this ultra evil came to pass in this village, and where she is the only one innocent enough to banish this thing. And so she, rips off her persona of sweetness and domesticity, and she basically annihilates this thing. And her husband, this god, is so intimidated by her and fearful of this newfound powerful incarnation that he begs her to get back into her old way. And so this is so she transformed herself into Kali and destroyed the demon as if she were snapping a branch. She was so intimidated in her awesome power that it said her powerful husband, the magnificent god Rama, begged her to return to her domesticated form. She obligingly did, donning her beautiful clothing and neat hair once more. Yet beneath that kind mantle of a civilized and cultured woman is sufficient divine power and ferocity to be a complete badass when one needs to be. So it's possibly a time to set some type of boundaries and to reinforce something that has already been set here, and to continue to not fear this side of yourself. And if it's been mirrored back, witness yourself in the moment and make those choices to clear your energy. So let's get you some animal totems, and then we're going to just kind of close out these messages. I hope you did enjoy this different depiction here. We'll go with that one. Wolf, Pathfinder, release your past and start a new journey. You're a teacher and help others to find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. And I was realizing that we didn't read your wilderness card. Let's read that. Dragonfly magic is under the deck, and this is absolutely about that magic coming to the forefront. I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I am brilliant and I am blessed. So here is the card of the magic. The transformation was in this Gari Devi card of being able to perhaps surprise yourself or just remind yourself of that inner badass that needs to arise and say, no, or hey, no, that's for me. I'll say yes to this and pluck that off the tree. So 34. So we had a lot of green yesterday. I can't remember the name of the card. She reminds me of Gamora from Marvel, but here we have this red-skinned goddess with her entire garb and background in the essence of green. So it's like she's a warrior of the heart, but bringing the heart down into the beyond the pit of the stomach, into the toes, into the root, getting barefoot on the root in that warrior instinct. She is vibrant, red, pulsating with the feminine power of enlightened activity, infusing our hearts with her capacity for sacred sorcery to conjure and create according to love's guiding wisdom, to receive the divine inheritance of blessing and support, for sacred fulfillment. Certain karmic conditions that resonate at a lower frequency will need to be cleared away. The lesson is to release, to receive. Curricula symbolizes a time of rapid movement on your life path and the freedom to attract what you need and want. However, you must be willing to let go of negativity and to that which does not belong in your world. So with that bow and arrow, she is definitely taking aim at her goals, and she's recognizing any clutter that does not serve, that serves as stumbling blocks only. She's repurposing, she's regenerating, she's understanding to clear up energetic drains here, to ask for support there, to walk steadfast and fearless towards her destiny here, to self-liberate and to find the freedom of self-expression and to be able to have that courage to walk towards one's destiny with beauty and musical magic lifting you up, taking flight, I'm hearing. So this is a shamanic folk goddess who is adopted into the spiritual traditions of Hinduism and Buddhism. She's one of the Kali Nityas, the medicine goddess, medicine from the beginning of the waning moon cycle. We talked about that, a powerful sorceress, enchantress, and conqueror of enemies. So she banishes all negativity. Here's the realm of magnetism and charisma, spell crafting, and the power of attraction. So this also talks on that double layer of, even though that's her power, she's had lessons that have taught her about being attracted to things that were less than in a course of experience.